It is 1 a.m. on August 8, 1975. A wall of water 10 kilometers wide tears through the darkness of Henan province at 50 kilometers per hour. Downstream, in towns along the Ruhe River, no one has been warned. China's iron dam had just broken, the dam that propaganda said could never fail. And the engineer who predicted exactly this was silenced 20 years earlier. The Banqiao Reservoir Dam was completed in 1952 on the Ruhe River in Henan Province, central China. Built with Soviet technical assistance, it was a showpiece of the new republic's industrial ambition, a concrete-core clay-shell gravity dam designed to tame the flood-prone plains downstream. Officials dubbed it the Iron Dam. State media celebrated it as indestructible. Its design spec: withstand a once-in-a-thousand-year flood. But here's the thing about thousand-year floods. They're a statistical model, not a promise. A Soviet-trained hydraulic engineer named Chen Xing reviewed the Banqiao design in the early 1950s. He identified a critical vulnerability. The dam had only 5 sluice gates. Chen calculated that 5 gates could not discharge floodwater fast enough during an extreme rainfall event. He recommended 12. 12 gates would have tripled the dam's discharge capacity. That capacity would have let operators lower the reservoir ahead of a major storm. 5 gates meant the dam could fill faster than it could drain. Chen Xing pushed his case. He was labeled a right deviator, a political charge during China's ideological campaigns, and removed from the project entirely. The dam was built with 5 gates. So what happens when a dam rated for a 1,000-year flood meets something worse? In early August 1975, Typhoon Nina made landfall on China's coast. Normally, typhoons weaken rapidly over land. Nina didn't. It stalled directly over Henan province, blocked by a cold front that pinned it in place. Over 24 hours on August 5th and 6th, the typhoon dumped approximately 1,060 millimeters of rain onto the Banqiao catchment. For perspective, that is more rainfall in a single day than the dam's designers projected for an entire year. This was not a 1,000-year flood. Later analysis classified it as beyond a 2,000-year event. The Iron Dam's spec was irrelevant, and now Chen Xing's arithmetic becomes lethal. 5 sluice gates, a reservoir filling faster than it can possibly drain, operators with no mechanism to release the water in time. At approximately 1 a.m. on August 8th, the Banqiao Dam overtopped and failed. The Shimantan Dam, upstream in the same system, had already breached hours earlier, but the disaster was not one dam failing. It was 62. As the Banqiao flood surge roared downstream, it overwhelmed reservoir after reservoir, each smaller dam designed for its own local hydrology, not for the combined discharge of every dam above it. Within hours, 60 additional dams across Henan province failed in sequence. An area of 12,000 square kilometers, roughly the size of Connecticut, was inundated. In places, the floodwater stood 3 to 7 meters deep. Here is the detail that makes this disaster different from every other dam failure in history. Phone lines and radio had already failed before authorities could warn the towns downstream. A courier was dispatched, by bicycle. The towns in the flood path, including Woyang County, with a population in the tens of thousands, received no warning before the wall of water arrived. People were sleeping. The flood surge, up to 10 kilometers wide, swept through in the darkness. Initial death toll from drowning and structural collapse, an estimated 85,600 people. In the weeks that followed, disease and famine from the devastated infrastructure killed an estimated 145,000 more. Total estimates range from 85,000 to 240,000 dead. The Banqiao disaster is the deadliest structural engineering failure in recorded history, surpassing the Vajont Dam disaster of 1963 and the Malpassé Dam failure of 1959 by an order of magnitude, and almost no one outside China heard about it. For 20 years, the Chinese government classified the Banqiao disaster immediately. Initial internal reports cited 26,000 dead. The true scale was not acknowledged publicly until the mid-1990s, when Human Rights Watch and Chinese scholars began publishing accounts. Western media did not report on it in detail until then. But here is where the story turns. After the disaster, the government brought Chen Xing back. The engineer they had exiled for being right was recalled to lead the reconstruction of the Banqiao Dam system. His redesigned dams included the 12 sluice gates he had originally specified. 20 years earlier, he had been removed from the project for recommending them. Chen Xing lived to the age of 102 and is now celebrated as a hero in Henan province. The Banqiao failure was not a mystery. It was not an unknowable risk. One engineer did the maths, identified the flaw, and told the people who could fix it. They chose politics over physics. The lesson is not that dams can fail. Engineers have always known that. The lesson is that the most dangerous failure mode in any system is the one where someone already identified the problem and was punished for saying so. The Banqiao Dam killed more people than any structural failure in history. But it is not the only disaster where the warning came first and was ignored. That pattern keeps repeating, the engineer who knew.